Daddy was sleeping for such a long time, and Eleanor has missed you. Find her and you'll be all better.
Few games have left a mark on the industry like BioShock. It's a series known for its iconic settings, like the Art Deco nightmare of Rapture and the sublime floating city of Columbia. But BioShock's true legacy lies in its ambition. It's a franchise that wants to challenge the expectations of what a video game can be. And yet, despite the numerous awards they won and the smashing commercial success of BioShock Infinite, the franchise hasn't seen a new game for over 10 years, despite the publishers and developers voicing their desire to release another. Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're answering the question of just what happened to BioShock? How did we get here, and will we ever get another one? To uncover all of that and explain properly, we'll need to go back to the beginning. Story spoilers ahead.
No! 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 No!
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
The foundation. Before the descent into the depths of Rapture, BioShock's lineage began in the frightening corridors of space with System Shock 2. Released in 1999, the game, co-developed by Irrational Games and Looking Glass Studios, was a masterclass in atmospheric design and mechanical systems. It seamlessly wove together first-person shooting, role-playing, and survival horror, creating a product that was both terrifying and deeply engaging. Despite System Shock 2's success with the critics, it failed to achieve commercial success, which would deeply affect the future work of the two studios working on it. Its narrative, player-driven choices, and careful world-building, however, laid the groundwork for a much more ambitious project to come.
Use the speed disc.
Birth of a masterpiece. Ken Levine, lead writer and designer on System Shock 2, was a previous Looking Glass Studios employee who had gone on to co-found his own game studio, Irrational Games, in search of more creative autonomy. After working together with Looking Glass for System Shock 2, Levine would set out to create a new kind of game, one that could capture a larger audience while retaining the core design philosophy of its predecessors. Eventually, that vision birthed the underwater Art Deco metropolis which we know as Rapture. Now armed with a canvas and paintbrush, Irrational Games managed to take things up to the next level. Rapture and objectivism.
And I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow?
In-game, Rapture is the brainchild of a disillusioned industrialist named Andrew Ryan, who sought to build a society completely free from government, religion, and all forms of authority. The city is a living, breathing experiment in Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism, a philosophy that champions individualism and the pursuit of self-interest. BioShock uses this setting to critique the ideology, showing how a world without moral or ethical constraints inevitably crumbles. The rampant plasma use, a black market economy, and a devastating civil war are all consequences of Rapture's objectivism. In fact, the game is deliberately designed in a way that uses Andrew Ryan's audio logs to introduce you to this philosophy, right before showing you the consequences.
Now, are you ever bringing old Peach them snappies, or are you just sightseeing?
The iconic Big Daddy.
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel. I can see light coming from his belly.
While the world of Rapture was definitely captivating, it was the Big Daddy that truly cemented the franchise's visual identity. The iconic character's design originated from the technical limitations of System Shock 2, which forced the designers to think creatively in an effort to create an enemy with a lower polygon count. The result was a hulking armored figure with a tragic and sympathetic purpose: to protect the vulnerable little sisters. This unique relationship created a dynamic where players would have to confront these formidable guardians if they wanted to reach the Little Sisters, which would reward you with the upgrade materials known as Adam. The Big Daddy's design became synonymous with the BioShock franchise, perhaps as iconic, if not more iconic, than Rapture itself. Success. When BioShock finally hit shelves in 2007, the reception was nothing short of phenomenal. The game was hailed as a monumental achievement, proving to the industry that video games could be both commercially successful and artistically profound. Critics praised its meticulous world building, compelling storyline, and sophisticated moral choices. It received numerous Game of the Year awards and by 2009 had sold over 3 million copies, validating Ken Levine's vision for a more accessible yet still deeply intellectual game. The success of the game cemented its place as a new powerhouse IP and practically guaranteed the continuation of the franchise.
And he felt so strongly about this that he felt he couldn't stay in America, especially with the coming threat of nuclear war, with the new nuclear weapons after World War II. And he wanted to take what he considered the best and the brightest people.
The sequel.
Let's go out to play, Daddy.
With Irrational Games focused on a different BioShock project, publisher 2K Games decided to hand off BioShock 2 to their own subsidiary, developer studio 2K Marin. BioShock 2 would this time put players into the diving suit of a Big Daddy, as a former protector named Subject Delta. It's a change in perspective that offered a new way to explore Rapture and its themes, but the game struggled to escape the shadow of its predecessor. While it was still a solid, well-made experience, critics and fans felt it lacked the original's groundbreaking innovation. Good game, but not revolutionary.
Take a breath, son.
Return of Lavine and Infinite. Meanwhile, Ken Levine had secretly worked on a third BioShock title after the success of the first one in 2007, which is why Irrational Games didn't work on BioShock 2 since they were already busy. Leaving behind Rapture, they created a new, majestic city in the sky, Columbia. Unfortunately, the development of BioShock Infinite was notoriously long and fraught with challenges, with the whole game undergoing several creative reboots. Despite an immense ambition to create a worthy successor to the first BioShock, Irrational had struggled with wasted cost and faulty production lines, leading to developers being let go in the midst of Infinite's development. Nearing its release, 2K hired Rod Ferguson, who cut around 6 games worth of content to get the game out on time.
No, it's me, Elizabeth. You all right?
Columbia and American exceptionalism. While Rapture was a critique of objectivism, BioShock Infinite's Columbia was a striking commentary on American exceptionalism and religious fanaticism. The city, led by the prophet Comstock, was a blend of early 20th century American jingoism and a chilling xenophobic ideology. The game explores themes of racism, class warfare, and nationalism, using its flying cityscape as a backdrop for a critique of a society built on corrupted ideals. Much like Rapture, the city of Columbia is built in a way that makes it feel both familiar and strangely uncanny at the same time.
It's him!
Now, where'd you get that brand, boy?
Infinite's narrative. The story of BioShock Infinite was an amazing narrative accomplishment at the time, and it really pushed the boundaries of video game storytelling. Its core mystery revolves around the relationship between player character Booker DeWitt and his companion Elizabeth, a young woman with the power to tear open rifts in reality. The game's ending introduced the concept of multiverses and parallel realities, before the concept had been explored much. The way it's revealed and used in BioShock Infinite makes it so it completely recontextualizes not just the game, but the entire franchise.
You took the baptism. You were born again as a different man. It all has to end to have never started.
Peak of the franchise. BioShock Infinite was a gargantuan critical and commercial success. It won multiple Game of the Year awards, was lauded by critics, and sold over 11 million copies, making it the best-selling game in the franchise. However, the immense pressure to create a follow-up to the original BioShock and the arduous 5-year development cycle had taken a significant toll on the team and its creative director, Ken Levine. The weight of this success and the toll it took on his personal health would lead to a decision that would shock the industry and forever change the course of the franchise.
Who are you?
We are where we are needed.
And needed where we are. So Comstock uses these songs.
The shocking closure of Irrational Games. Less than a year after the release of BioShock Infinite, Ken Levine made a shocking announcement. He revealed that he was winding down Irrational Games, the studio he had founded, lowering the number of 90 employees down to a staggering 15. The studio was rebranded as Ghost Story Games, with a focus on smaller, more narrative-driven projects. Levine stated that the pressures of managing a large AAA development studio had exhausted him. It was a very sudden decision that left the future of the BioShock franchise in a state of limbo, as Levine had effectively exited the series.
There's no way out. Trust me, I've looked. Stop it. You're too impatient. That's enough.
BioShock in limbo. With Irrational Games downsizing to a mere fraction of what it had become, the BioShock franchise got stuck. It seemed like Irrational Games were done with it for the time being. While Levine's vision had carried the two best-selling ones, the franchise would now have to do without him. For years, there was no news of a new mainline game, and fans were left to wonder what a new entry would look like without Ken Levine at the helm. Despite the situation, publisher 2K Games made extra efforts to stress that the IP was too valuable to be abandoned. But the franchise's decade-long period of silence created a sense of uncertainty about its future direction.
See? Not stars. They're doors.
Doors to
everywhere. All that's left is the choosing.
Give the fans something. Previously, a BioShock game had come out every 3 years, and it was now 2016 without any news. But 2K Games would still release BioShock The Collection, which contained remasters of all 3 mainline games and their DLCs. It served 3 purposes. 1, it was a way to keep the franchise alive and relevant during its extended dormancy. 2, it brought the series to a new generation of consoles and players. And lastly, it gave longtime fans a reason to revisit and play through Rapture and Columbia again. But despite this buffer, it'd still take years before we'd hear anything in regards to a new title.
Telegram, Mr. DeWitt. Telegram for you, sir.
A new studio. After years of silence, 2K Games finally announced in late 2019 that BioShock 4 was in development. But reports actually suggest that the game had originally been in development since 2015 by the studio known as Certain Affinity. That version of the game was scrapped a year later, and 2K took matters into their own hands by opening a new subsidiary studio called Cloud Chamber. In theory, it seemed like a solid idea, since Cloud Chamber would have a couple of people that were involved with previous BioShock games development. However, they'd be led by Kelly Gilmore, who hadn't worked on any BioShock title prior.
What about this?
What about it?
This is the way out, isn't it?
What are you... Give it to me.
Development hell. Despite what appears to be a somewhat promising start, recent reports say that the new BioShock project has been struggling. Much like BioShock Infinite, the first reboot wouldn't be the last, which likely contributed to it taking so long to develop. On the other hand, the CEO of 2K's parent company Take-Two, Strauss Zelnick, at least promises that it'll come out, as much consolation as that is. He stresses in an interview that Ken Levine left some pretty big shoes to fill, but that they want to live up to BioShock's legacy. Narrative overhaul.
That's the big daddy. She got it on him. He keeps her safe.
Which is probably why more reports tell us that BioShock 4 has undergone a complete narrative overhaul. An internal review by 2K Games executives mentions the game's story as being subpar, which has led to a major shift in their creative direction. As a result, 2K and Take-Two made drastic changes to Cloud Chamber Studios, including a leadership change with studio head Kelly Gilmore and creative director Hogarth De La Plante being reassigned. But Kelly's replacement wouldn't just be anyone. Remember Rod Ferguson? He's been brought back to fix the game, just like he did with Infinite. Layoffs and new direction. Now with Rod on board, Cloud Chamber underwent a round of layoffs in August of 2025, with roughly 1/3 of the studio's staff being affected. While this is an unfortunate event, a statement from 2K was made saying that the move was to give the team a more focused direction, and to rework aspects that are core to a BioShock game. At least according to them, it's in an effort to meet and even exceed the lofty expectations of the fans. It's almost a complete repeat of Infinite, except this time with a 5 times as long development, and likely 5 times as big budget.
Booker, they're bleeding.
Oh. I remember what I remember.
Now we've upset him.
Pushed back again.
You see what the Bible Populi is selling? They're selling dreams! And dreams, my friend, they don't come cheap!
As a direct result of this development hell, BioShock 4's release window has been pushed back from late 2026 to potentially late 2027 or early 2028. It's always good to see games get the development time they need instead of coming out half-baked, but expectations only get higher in the meantime, especially when Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick says that good is the new bad, and that they want it to be exceptional instead. That's a pretty high bar to set for yourself. Whether BioShock 4 is good or bad, Take-Two and 2K respect the legacy Ken Levine left behind, but what about him? Shadows, Judas.
Is dying. And my only way out of here is with one of them.
Lavine and his new studio, Ghost Story Games, are making their own game titled Judas, which will look familiar to fans of the BioShock franchise. It's a new first-person shooter that shares a lot of thematic and design similarities with his past work. One can't help but wonder whether he'll end up competing with his own game since he conceptualized BioShock in the first place. With a focus on Ken's narrative Lego system and player-driven choices, Judas is widely considered to be its spiritual successor. He also stated that it'll be similar to System Shock, so we're coming full circle.
Nothing. You are the frog in a pot, boiling so slowly.
Unwritten future. Even after a decade of silence followed by disastrous news of development turmoil, the future of the BioShock franchise is far from over. 2K Games has consistently stated its commitment to the series, and a new game is officially in development under Cloud Chamber. While it's guaranteed to be a different experience without the direct involvement of Ken Levine, the publisher is clearly aiming to create a game that lives up to the series' high standard of storytelling and immersive gameplay. BioShock isn't over, it's just waiting to come back better than ever, hopefully. Until then, we'll have to do with the BioShock that is set to go into production late next year.
The bird, Elizabeth! I lost control, he's coming!
No, he isn't.
That answers the question of what happened to BioShock. Regardless of whether you're a believer or you've lost faith in the series, it's been undeniably pivotal in proving that video games can be art. But what do you believe? Are they going to push it back more, or will it finally come out? Tell us in the comments below.